let's go on to talking about the predictions then, because we have our North American quarterfinals set up, the upper quarters. Before we get into the actual predictions, though, I believe we need to do a bit of a recap.
Oh.
Now, Ryan, you're our guest here, so we're not going to roast you, but we normally do a recap of how people's prior predictions have gone, you know?
I see.
And have we got like a guest slot, or have we got a Bala slot? Does it still show Bala stuff? Oh, Kurt says we'll see.
Oh, can I butcher Bala's predictions?
What an incredible picture of Ryan.
That's nice.
I'm surprised I'm even.
You know what? I remember the moment because they were taking the pictures, and like whilst we were in the studio, the games were on like the pistol round, and it was the first time that we ever saw that Team Liquid Neon comp on Haven, and it was just Yinsu going, "Right, Ryan, react to that composition," and I pulled that face. I like the comp in the end, but yeah, I think I have a very memeable face. That's the only thing that's going for me right now.
Okay, let's take a look at the actual preds then. So we've got our first match of the quarterfinals is Cloud9 taking on Knights. So everyone's going with Cloud9. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's a hope in hell for Knights here.
Well,
really,
so
right?
actually, I do have a question about this match. Does it matter? Does C9 have to win this to lock in their first seed from their group, or are they already locked in?
What the dickens are you talking about? It's playoffs, mate.
Oh my God! Wait, what am I? Yeah, I forgot. Oh shit! My brain.
You're lost.
I was for some reason I was like, oh yeah, we're still in the infinite group stages. So like it's not ending. So like Knights, like C9's playing their 20th group stage match of the month, and they're gonna have to
I'm
like.
laughing because it's relatable.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Well,
yeah,
I frequently have the brain fog take over, Connor. Don't worry.
Okay, so the next game is a banger, actually. It's Optic Gaming taking on XSET. And we've all gone for Optic here, actually. But I still think it's a damn good game. Especially with Optic struggling a little bit in their games. They lost to Rise. They lost to version 1. Although they blasted version 1 on one of the maps and then dropped out. I don't know. It's a weird time to watch Optic. I feel like the peaks of Optic have been some of the best gameplay we've seen in North America.
Yeah.
Like the maps where they win, they play phenomenally.
Definitely have some confidence issues in terms of if they get knocked in a map, regaining their footing is a big thing for Optic, I think, moving forward. Because they've showcased that they can hang with the best when they're playing really confidently. Everybody is swinging, taking fights, winning them. But then there was the last series that they played, I think it was the last series that they played, again, when they tested out the Haven comp.
Yeah, that was against
V1. It was in week 4. That was a big eye-opener for me, because Ascent, they dominated. If you look at Ascent, look at the scoreline.
13-2.
Yeah. They absolutely dominated. They rolled version 1. Insane performance from them. Everybody's popping off. And then Haven comes out. They pull out the wacky composition with the neon. It didn't look well versed. And it highlighted a weakness for Optic for me, when before I thought that this team was looking unstoppable for that number 1 seed in their group. And so, yeah, I don't know if that's going to rear its head in this match. It could.
The reason... Go on, Ryan.
I was just going to say, I had to double check. I did predict XSET, but it was based off nothing. I haven't seen the games because we had like EMEA, like 2 A stream and B stream to catch up on, but I went for XSET based entirely off of nothing.
But the reason that I favor Optic in this match, to bring it back to Optic XSET, is not only have their peaks been great, but the map pool is so good for them. XSET love playing on Bind. XSET are undefeated on Bind, but Optic have showcased, I think, the best Bind gameplay we've actually seen in North America. And I think they are likely to dismantle XSET in the same way that they dismantled Sentinels. So if XSET pick their favorite map into Optic, that's going to be a problem. Optic tend to ban Breeze anyway, which is XX's second favorite map. So you might get rolled on your favorite. They're going to ban your second favorite. And then where do you go there? Where does XSET go to try and get an advantage in the map veto? It's going to be tough, I think. So the next game that we've got coming up, version 1 LG. And oh my word, this one's tight. Who will we be predding? Oh, it's all version 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's a snoozer.
Wow, North America kind of like easy picks this first. But I mean, it makes sense because...
It's always the ones you think are easy picks that the upsets happen. This is
I
coming from
can't
the,
think of. I'm gonna be honest. I can't think of one yet that.
well, this is coming from the undisputed buy-around millionaire. So you got to trust me on this one.
You are essentially role-playing as Zoms when you play the buy round.
Yeah, but you're not the undisputed buy-around millionaire. You're essentially just some guy throwing crazy bets, and eventually, like, you're hoping the government bailout is gonna help you one time.
It's Wall Street bets kind of moments. That's what Bren does with his approach in the costumes. All right, the final game though of the quarterfinals is, I think, the best game of the quarters. It's the Guard against Sentinels on the new patch. And Bren has gone with Sentinels. The other three of us gone with the Guard. And I'm telling you, I didn't feel confident about this. So, Bren, shoot me the Sentinels.
The entire time during the Sentinels struggling with the new patch, I basically just said, man, they don't have enough time. They were struggling. They haven't really done any of the foundation, the legwork. But this is more based off of, I think, the Guard showcase that they are still a pretty prep-heavy team. And I think the lack of time to prep for the new patch will hurt the Guard more than it will Sentinels, if that makes sense. Because they showcased that they put a lot of time into bind and they short that up. Great pick for them. But the other maps were still kind of lacking. And I think it compounded a little bit with just the confidence in it. Because the team is so... I don't want to call it a honeymoon phase, but it's very much like these guys were just on a streak of just popping the fuck off. But Trent had one of his worst games ever in that second map in their series. I think he got 3 kills overall after he'd been previously playing really well. And there's a risk of that kind of inexperience rearing its head in this series. I've seen teams before play against Sentinels. Constantly, we've been talking about Sentinels as this team that is underperforming. And it feels like they have this fucking plot armor where they go up against teams and you think there's a chance of the upset, and for whatever reason teams get in their own heads when they play against Sentinels. And I think it's because of this just the aura of the fact that these guys were the top dogs in North America in 2021. That when you were trying to make it in the scene, you were looking at this team win it all, and now you're playing against them. It's a bit of a hurdle to get over in your mind when you're playing against this team, despite the fact that Sentinels have been looking a bit more sloppy recently. And so for those reasons, I went with the punt on Sentinels. I still stand by the points I was making, where I think that there's not enough time really for Sentinels to shore up.
This is you more predicting the Guard mental collapse.
Not a bit. I don't want to say mental collapse. I want to say like inexperience,
right?
Rearing its head and not having enough time to put that really solid prep work that put them above and beyond a lot of other teams.
Yeah,
that's my take on this series.
I think it's fair, and it's also part of the argument that I was making last week for Sentinels maybe being favored over version 1. Obviously not the like inexperienced part, because version 1 are very experienced, but Sentinels just being a bit better when it comes to the patch. I think this is extremely valid. I just refuse to take another punt on Sentinels after they let me down this week. And the Guards buying did look genuinely incredibly good.
It did, yeah. It looked good.
Yeah, if it happened earlier, I think if this was like, if we had removed the last week of group stages and just suddenly this is the first week, right? And like we're playing right now on this patch and Sentinels and Guard are playing, I'd be like, okay, sure. But I think the more reps, since Guard has had a week to get some reps in, they're going to be stronger. Like they're just like an algorithm. You just got to put them through, give them enough data sets, and eventually they're going to be downloaded. So I'm not too worried about them.
I've just realized what your room reminds me of, Connor.
What?
It's an episode of Black Mirror. It's like a future where art is now optional, or like people look down. Art is optional. People look down.
First of all, art is already optional.
But it's like,
art is already an optional thing.
You've got a very like Unit 5210 report to your desk.
It's just because I haven't put on.
I love 1984.
I just haven't put the fucking Kadinsky up on the wall.
You need to put the Kadinsky up, I think.
Yeah,
I know.
because
apparently you work in a prison and you sleep in a prison. There's a little call to action for all the viewers, actually, because we want to get you involved in the show a lot more.
Okay.
And we want to get you involved big time to compete against us.
Whoa!
So we are going to do a viewer predictions to compete against us. So there you are. You're on your laptop, possibly watching Plat Chat. And you've even drawn a picture around this. Oh, we're here.
Hello. Look at your cute chubby cheeks.
Hi, little Timmy. Would you like to pred against us? Well, we are going to do essentially a match of the week. We're going to post it on our Twitter. And we're going to post what we think is the match of the week, the one to watch for. And that Twitter poll, you can vote on that. And that will be the collective community vote in terms of what you guys are trending towards. And so you can prove, we can see as well as we're tallying up all the preds. You can follow our Twitter, obviously, at Plat Chat Podcast, and check it out there as we post the match of the week when it happens. and you'll compete against us. You know, we'll keep the tally, we'll keep it going, and we'll see if, you know, it's essentially like the armchair analyst versus the armchair analyst.
Exactly.
You know, and then if you guys beat us, you can take my job.
You can take a spot on the podcast.
Yep.
If you beat. Also, don't you dare pump up the interaction on that one. Don't go too crazy. But I do. Don't go too crazy on that one.
Don't